that's Afro Love, not Afro Man, the man who sung about getting high.
Oh!
Who apparently works as a security guard at a local mall out here.
That's great.
It's a fun Afro Man fact for you. There'll be another one of those next week.
Have you checked if he'll keep you secure?
He can't.
You should ask him.
Because he got high, because he got... Why do I bother?
You got high, it's true.
Jonathan Holmes. He will drink pineapple and we'll watch him take a crap all over the place. I did not think that song through before I started singing it, Jonathan.
It was the Copacabana theme.
It was the Copacabana song. Just before I actually called you to, I thought in my head, Jonathan Holmes, that is good. If I just start singing that, the rest of the music will come. It didn't. It's highly evidenced it didn't, because people are hearing it. They can go to the tape.
They might have liked it. You can't tell. You don't know what you do that people love and what you don't love, what they don't love. They may love it, they may hate it. You have no idea.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. You know what I hate?
What?
The fact that Conrad is poorly.
He's what?
He is poorly.
Pauly? Like Pauly Shore?
It is, well, possibly. It is a, the science isn't there to prove whether or not Conrad is poorly sure. But, no, poorly. It is British for not very well.
No, that's true. I am
You're
not
ill?
well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were at a wedding, it's my understanding.
Yeah, I was out of town over the weekend, and I'm guessing that someone on the plane was sick or something. And so, yeah, I've just been sort of on a downward slide for the last few days. It's been a treat.
What kind of sick, if you don't mind me asking?
Sore throat, congestion, muscle ache.
I've had the same thing.
Yeah.
I've had that for days. And as do people I work with, it might be the stand, guys. Because we don't live anywhere near each other, Connor.
That's true.
Putting on that.
This could be the super flu.
You are sick, I am sick. This could be Dr. Snatch or whatever his name was. What was the name of that man who showed up and was like, hey, everybody?
I don't know, but I'm going to start calling you Dr. Snatch from now on.
Don't do that.
That is nasty.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
No, it had character. It didn't sound like it felt good, though.
Recording is never fun either. I mean, you don't have to be here if you're sick. No.
I don't contribute that frequently anyway.
I'm thrilled to have you as always, and I thank you for coming on. I think all the listeners should be fucking grateful that you came on, and you're sick. But
I have not really. I've left the bed a couple of times in the past 2 days, and it's been to walk a mile to get food, which seems really counterproductive.
Yeah. I was just about to congratulate you for actually staying in bed that long, because I can't do it. And I find out it's for that.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, yesterday morning, I, when I'm first, really starting to feel shitty, I go outside and I see that my car now has a flat tire.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm like, I can't change this. I have a spare, but I'm not able to change the tire. So, yeah, I've had to walk for food.
Jesus.
But when you want pho, you gotta have pho.
Pho?
Pho.
What's that?
It's a Vietnamese beef broth soup.
Oh, sake, Jonathan, don't you know your Vietnamese beef broths? I do. I don't. I didn't know what pho was, but I was just going to sort of nod and say, to not show my cultural ignorance.
It's a beef broth, and you have it with the place I go to. They serve it with your choice of meat, and then throw in some bean sprouts, and which actually, oddly enough, my local supermarket stopped selling. They said it was a health risk. I don't
Oh,
I don't know why. Like I don't read a lot of news, so I don't know if there was some sort of bizarre sprout like infestation or disease. Anyway, some sprouts and some lime, jalapeno, and mint. And you just sort of toss it all in there and steep it, and it's a noodle soup.
Are you taking all this down, Jonathan?
no.
For
But
when we open up our Vietnamese restaurant?
No.
We're opening up a Vietnamese restaurant, Jonathan.
What? Why?
Huh?
We have no interest in that. I like Vietnamese food, but I am not Vietnamese, and
It's
nor
called it's called the Lucky Dragon.
yeah.
Jonathan Holmes is Vietnamese Viet Cong food.
Food is on the side.
Yeah, it says Lucky Dragon Vietnamese food. Eat it.
No one would go to that place. They wouldn't. They
What?
think no. They
Right?
wouldn't.
There would be just so that they know it is Vietnamese. There are movie posters for Jacob's Ladder in the window.
The movie with Tim Robbins.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like pictures, like inside the restaurant is just tons of pictures of Tim Robbins like screaming and looking frightened.
Oh no.
Like lying on the floor, dying, staring at someone's head while it's wobbling about the place a bit. How's that? Like there's a TV in the corner and it's always playing Jacob's Ladder.
It's not as feel bad as let's say Eraserhead, but it's in the same ballpark. It's in the same genre.
So you're saying we should like for a bit of variety also play Eraserhead on the TV? We can do that. So yeah, we'll play Jacob's Ladder, Eraserhead, a bit of Full Metal Jacket, just the bit where the fat man shotguns the racist drill instructor. Just that bit on a loop over and over and over again. Then it's just like Full Metal Jacket, and the other guy's like, "You stupid fat man! Give me that gun and stop being a stupid idiot about it! Don't shoot me now! Kaboom!" And that just loops over and over again in the restaurant, in the Vietnamese restaurant, official. Authentic Vietnamese cuisine cooked by the karate master Jonathan Holmes.
It's really. There would be. It's not racist, but it is racially insensitive and potentially.
How is it racially insensitive? You are karate master Jonathan Holmes, right? In the kitchen, and they can see through the window at the kitchen because people want to look at you while you're cooking. You're wearing a karate gi. Is that what they're called?
Yes.
A karate gi black belt, so that they know you mean business. One of those hats, like Raiden has in Mortal Kombat.
Uh-huh.
That'll do.
No, those don't match.
And when they take an order, you say, "Watch me use karate to cook." And you like get the carrots and you start chopping at them with your hand, doing karate chops.
Ouch.
On them, and you put those like once because they're using your karate skills, which obviously you've got a PhD in karate. You finely chop the carrots with your hand using deft karate chops. You're not even touching the carrot, I don't think. It's just like the pointed gusts of air are so precise you're cutting through. And this is what you're telling everyone. You're just saying, watch me do karate and cook a food. I am using air from my hand flaps to cut this carrot into fucking slices.
I don't have that kind of power.
And
people can't do that.
It's all sleight of hand. Karate's no different from any other kind of magic trick. David Blaine does karate all the time, but he doesn't know how to do it. It's just tricks of the eye. So you just like chop. If you chop at that carrot believingly enough, they will think it's been finely sliced.
Well,
Even
why
if
don't
you're
we
dumping a
just-
whole carrot.
Well, why don't we just like put a razor blade along the bottom of Holmes's hand?
I like what you're thinking.
Mm.
How about we get some duct tape, right? and duct tape 2 big kitchen knives to the inside palm of your hands, so that when you're just like chopping down, like that, you're just chopping all the onions and carrots. And what me and Conrad can do is get onions and throw them really hard at you like baseballs, and you just slice them in the air going, here, Vietnam, here, and cut the onions up. Like, we're really aiming them at your, like, face. Because, and you do that thing, you say, in ancient Vietnam, ancient Japanese karate masters like me would catch bullets in the air. Fortunately, the days of guns are long since past with the era of the shogun and the samurai. But I can still catch an onion and do a chopping of it. Watch as Conrad-san and Jim-san throw onions at my stupid face. And I will put my hand in front of my face, and the onion will be cleft in twain, and each slice of the onion will fly past my head and land in the 2 the 2 woks behind me. They are just frying pans, but we're calling them woks to make it sound authentic. People don't know the difference. And at that point, you close your eyes and go, ha! Karate! Vietnam! Kim Jong-il, and you raise, and me and Conrad take turns to we're really whipping our wrists as we throw them, just whipping onions at your face, and you're going, ha ha, karate, South Korea, like that.
They'd be offended.
They wouldn't! How would they be offended when you are dazzling them with an array of deft hand moves and karate chops? Like, here's what, you've got kitchen knives duct taped to your hands, right? You're raising them in the air above your face as we're lobbing onions at you, and you are using the skills of karate, judo chopping the onions so that they fly off in half and just whiz past your ears into the 2 frying woks behind you.
So, when you lump all Asian cultures together into one culture and just use them interchangeably, it speaks to the fact
I am just talking about Vietnam.
Karate, a Raiden hat.
Whoa, are you saying Vietnamese people can't do karate?
Karate is a Japanese practice.
So only Japanese people can use it?
No, it's just there's nothing.
I'm detecting a bit of a prejudiced tone from you, Jonathan Holmes.
You are? What do you mean?
Well, you're telling me that Vietnamese people can't do karate, they can't wear Raiden hats?
I'm not saying they can, I'm saying to lump those all into the same Vietnamese culture soup, if you will, is sort of. Potentially, it's not racist.
It's not racist.
It is potentially.
If anything, this shows deference to Vietnamese culture. Your culture, the culture of your people, Jonathan.
I'm not Vietnamese either.
Don't go fucking saying it. That's half our marketing budget is going into telling people that you're Vietnamese.
They'll never believe it because...
Well, I focus tested all this information in Mississippi, where I am, and they didn't cotton on to anything. They didn't pick it up. I said, look at this picture of my friend Jonathan Holmes. He's from Vietnam. And most of the people around here in Mississippi said, well, he should fuck off back to Vietnam. So they believe it.
That is a new one. I've been mistaken to have many different racial backgrounds, but Vietnamese never happened. No!
It's believable. It's believable, so long as you keep saying karate.
I will tell you a brief aside.
Don't.
Oh, come on. You'll like this. It's very validating.
Alright, well, I'm not done with the...
I know you're not done. I never thought you would be. A woman, she was a psychiatric patient. She was there for months, so we got to know each other pretty well. I got to know her more than she got to know me, because I don't talk about myself at work, but still, we got a sense of each other's characters. And she was sure my name was Schnook. And and that I had been her landlord, who was from Cambodia. She spoke Khmer. She was from Cambodia. She was like, "Hey, Schnook," and I'm like, "Hi, name's not Schnook." She's like, "Ah, I know you, Schnook." And long story short, she thought I was Cambodian. So maybe you're onto something.
Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting.
I
Very
know you,
interesting.
Schnook. Yeah.
So anyway, you get the tortillas.
What?
And you're scooping all the ground beef and the onions that you've made yourself using your karate knife hands.
Ground beef.
You're making a tasty Vietnamese quesadilla.
That's not a thing.
And while that's flash frying, me and Conrad run at you with our fingers. Like, we've put our fists to the side of our heads and pointed our index fingers up so they look like horns. And we start rubbing our feet on the ground. And you, Jonathan, get a red blanket and start going, ole, ole, Vietnamese bullfighting, while we run at you, going, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, 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 da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
This is all behind the scenes, the kitchen?
This is all in the kitchen, but there's a big window so that the people can watch their food. It's kind of blending in Vietnamese hibachi, so they can see the food being cooked, but it's not quite hibachi, because they're not all sat around a table watching. This is a takeout place. They're looking through a window at the kitchen. And you're there waving this big red blanket around their open flames while we're cooking. It's going to be great. You look at the audience, because that's what they are at this point. They're an audience. They're customers waiting for food, and they're an audience, captive audience. And you shout at them. You shout, "Hey! Who's fucking seen Big Trouble in Little China?" And, some of them might say yes.
Why am I swearing? Why would I do that?
And you say, "Look what I can do." And then we've got some, Vietnamese spaghetti being cooked up in a boiling pot of water. And that's when you pull the taser out of your pocket and say, I have electric powers like Big Trouble in Little China. And you shoot the taser into the boiling pot of pasta.
How do I do that? What?
You just get a taser. You know what a taser is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Aim that into the boiling water and press it. And then, if my calculations are correct, a stunning electric light show will appear.
I will get hurt, probably. Again.
Not really, because of your skills.
What skill is that?
Big Trouble in Little China. It's a classic of Vietnamese cinema.
It has, I think, a Vietnamese actor in it.
There you go.
That's one.
Yeah,
he doesn't play
this is a strong move.
Because
Jonathan Holmes' Lucky Dragon is going to take right off.
People, you're sadly right.
Right, check out the menu. Right, authentic Vietnamese quesadilla. Right, noodles.
How's that spelled?
With a lot of O's. We won't tell them it's ramen. American-style Vietnamese hammed burger.
Hamburger?
Hammed burger.
Hammed burger.
Paschetti with meatball.
No.
Oh, sorry. Vietnamese paschetti with Vietnamese meatball. Vietnam meatball. That's another meal on its own. Vietnam meatballs.
Sounds...
It's meatballs served on a copy of Apocalypse Now. Just on the disc. And the idea is you're supposed to pick the disc up and push the meatballs through the little hole in the middle of the DVD disc. And just push it so it comes out like a meaty worm into your mouth. And you say, I am Vietnamese, while you eat it. Really loudly. While walking through Chinatown.
It could. You could try to sell it as a fusion.
Vietnamese French bread. Full of guacamole. And sushi.
It could be fusion taste. It could be a hot, trendy new.
Fusion taste?
We're the next level.
Fusion taste.
It could
This
be.
isn't Dragon Ball Z. That's Japanese. You fucking racist.
I'm not saying it's like a Super Saiyan fusion. I'm saying that you can combine different foods together, like jazz fusion. You know, it's like that, except for spaghetti and tacos and whatever you say.
Action figures of Goku covered in meat sauce. Lick it off, free toy. Vietnamese style. Flash fried fish full of licorice.
What? Gross! That's just gross.
It's not.
Gross. It was.
How is that gross?
Uh,
Do you like fish?
Sometimes.
Do you
One
like
out of five.
Bassett's brand licorice? All sorts. We're trying to get sponsorship for that.
Bassett's brand?
Mmm.
Yo, I don't like licorice. I don't.
You monster. Licorice on its own isn't that good. Unless it's strawberry licorice.
That like Twizzler?
Like strawberry bootlaces.
Oh, yeah, those are okay.
Alright, well, we'll stuff the fish full of that.
It's a little better. Still gross.
Strawberry bootlace fish. Brackets Vietnamese style.
It's not good. When do you want to
Fish and chips!
say about it?
Vietnamese style.
That's not. That's just British. Everyone knows that. Come on, everyone knows that.
Iced tea.
When can we stop talking about it?
Shrimp fried beef brisket.
I think I don't even know what that means.
And pot of beans.
Vietnamese style?
Vietnamese style.
I've never seen a Vietnamese bean. It's possible, but I've never seen it.
It's like regular beans, except you are holding it, Jonathan, saying, I am from North Korea. That's Vietnamese style bean.
That is not. They're different. Vietnam, Korea,
Yeah.
and China.
With that concept thoroughly tapped out, it's time to move on.
You decided.
I'm done.
Oh, good.
I've had my fat fill of that idea. And I'm feeling pretty good about my life, Jonathan. I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now.
You should be. I am happy with your life, too.
Jonathan, I want you to become the Skunk Master General.
Why don't you want to talk about something else or some other, something?
I don't know what I don't know what a Skunk Master General is, by the way, Jonathan. Sometimes I will regularly do this.
Yeah.
Throughout the week.
Yeah.
Just in my head, I want Jonathan Holmes 2, and then just something will happen. Like, I want Jonathan Holmes 2 start Tokyo drifting, was one of them. I think we mentioned that on a Podtoid before.
Probably, yeah.
Just things, I know, right now I'm just imagining you dressed up as a skunk. Just telling people what to do in the street.
That wouldn't go over well at all. Go over terribly.
It wouldn't. But that's why you would then bend over and spray them.
Oh, that really goes over poorly. Any sort of ass display, a man or woman, but mostly a man, trouble. Especially when he's dressed in a furry costume. People are aware now. The general public has become aware that a man in a furry costume sometimes wants to have sex with someone in a way that's uncommon.
That's fine.
It's not okay with most, but it's not inherently harmful.
It's okay with me. And therefore, you need to do it.
Some people have decided to stop listening to Podtoid. So I'm told by VG Freak 1225, my old friend. We met once in Japan, just randomly. Dale North and I saw him, and I should have acted more excited, but I was so confused. I felt like it was a dream that I would bump into him there and have never met him in real life. He was also in Japan. Anyway, he's told me that people have decided to stop listening to Podtoid, Jim.
Have they?
Because I am too obsessive and narcissistic.
They're blaming you.
Well, yeah, because I talked about Pokemon too much over the weekend. I tweeted about it once. I wrote 2 posts about it. So my narcissistic obsession with talking about Pokemon has caused them to, otherwise Podtoid, the weekly, for over a year, maybe close on 2 years, the weekly ideas you have for me, almost always involving some sort of physical and or sexual harm, that you're excited about for yourself, and you've chosen in your mind to think of yourself as this powerful being who is so right in his ideas that any idea you have for me is instantly so great for me. All of
Within
this is fine.
Podtoid. Within Podtoid, I am Galactus. It's why I still do it.
That doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
They don't see any sort of obsession or narcissism in the stuff that you do on the show. It's my talking about Pokemon over like the course of once a day for 2 days.
Well, we've talked about this before. The victim blaming that happens to you. And the fact that you get accused of things that I do. If not exclusively, at least way worse. The idea that they don't want to continue this because you're too narcissistic in a show with me in it is... I'd be upset if they left for, like, other reasons. If they, like, didn't like the... if they didn't like the show anymore, or said, it's changed, or, it was better when Anthony hosted it, I'd tell them to... let's make sure I get this worded correctly. I'd tell them to fuck off, shit themselves... and sit in that shit till their assholes get really fucking itchy, Jonathan.
That's a great attack.
That's what I'd tell them. The fact they're leaving because you are too narcissistic and obsessive, that I encourage.
They were saying it on the Facebook group, I guess you can see for yourself.
I haven't checked that out because I actually changed the way I use Facebook, so I'm not a member of that group anymore. Not that I left it. I changed my old Facebook profile to a page. So it's like an official sort of thing now.
Sure.
And I've got a personal Facebook now, but it's like personal. If I get sent a friend request from anyone listening here and I don't accept it, please don't take that as an insult. I more or less use the public one for all the stuff you would have gotten on my old profile anyway. The personal one is literally just so I can catch up with, the people I really genuinely know. Or want to have sex with. Obviously, because that's what you use Facebook for. So, that's that. But what was I saying? Oh, yes. I am not a member of that group anymore just because of the way that Facebook pages as opposed to profiles operate. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm sad that people might not want to listen, but the fact they would choose not to listen for that reason fills me with joy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I was excited.
Well, it really is the culmination of the running gag that everything is always Holmes' fault.
Yeah.
Manifesting in reality.
Well, yeah, not all, but of course, when you have a large enough listenership, there's going to be a percentage that doesn't notice that it's a joke. Like, they listen to the show and just nod and go, yes, he will be anally fisting Gordon Ramsay on the show. That is a very good idea. Yeah, taking notes. This is what I want in my future. Not laughing.
Yeah, I like to imagine some people use this as a substitute for the Open University.
The what?
The Open University, this to them is a public access educational forum. They're here to learn facts. They listen to a Willem Dafoe movie pitch and think, yes, he did do that film. I will now answer questions about that in an exam I am doing for school.
Someone did that, didn't they?
Did they?
I just saw, let me see if I can find it on my Twitter feed, Nick O'Lantern Clay, who's a Nick to the past with just a K in Nick. He did some sort of school project on District Defoe.
Yes!
It's
I saw that.
Sure. It's like got a diorama. There's some sort of insignia that looks vaguely satanic. There's Willem Dafoe on old-fashioned television near a chainsaw. It's typed written, and it says, "All drains lead to the ocean." It's so creepy. It was for school, I think. It's on poster board.
Good.
Yeah, we are a school project, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I've been interviewed on and stuff for like college projects that people have done. I would publicly advise against it. I mean, I'm happy to help, but I would advise against it. But yeah, that's awesome, and I think, I mean, it's not just that everything is Holmes' fault either. I'd just like to think that you are the center of the universe, Jonathan. So, I mean, you know, we would thank you for good things as well as bad things.
Sure, yeah.
But we like to focus on the bad things.
You do. Yes, you do. And it's a lot of people, I think, were annoyed with the post I did about Pokemon and how I couldn't get into this one that well. But I was happy to see that, from what I could tell anyway, they were having a good time not being happy with me. And whatever keeps them entertained and gives them something to talk about, it's fine.
I read that post.
I didn't.
Yeah, that was obvious.
I didn't really want to write it, but I got peer pressured into it.
Yeah, I mean, I read it and I thought, wow, this is something that I never want to have a conversation about. So I applaud all of those people that were, able to put comments into it.
There was like
And
400 comments or
I
something.
know it was.
You really hated that post I wrote, Conrad.
People are really into the Pokemon. Like just mentioning it brings up huge discussions right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I did make one comment on it because you made a Star Trek comparison.
Abrams Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah, from original Star Trek to Abrams Star Trek, and I didn't think that worked that well as an analogy.
Oh,
well, I mean, just because you were putting so much emphasis earlier in the article to how Pokemon was trying to grow with its audience, which is now grown up and whatever.
Sure.
And the new Star Trek was really more aimed at capturing a wider, broader appeal audience. It wasn't about growing up with them because those people are fucking ancient. They done grown up.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking of kids that grew up with Star Trek thinking it was really cool, but then when they got older, they're like, these effects suck. This is corny. And then the new Star Trek comes out with like good-looking people doing fashionable things with good effects. So, I mean, Star Trek is much more cross-generational than Pokemon, of course. Pokemon only being around for 15 years or so, and Star Trek has been around long enough to reach all sorts of generations. Maybe I should have been more clear about that in the article.
Yeah, you damn right.
I'm sorry, Conrad.
Never.
I grew up with Star Trek, so for me.
So me too. I stopped watching somewhere on Voyager.
I liked looking at the Borg.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like by season 2 of Voyager, it just felt really Gilligan's Island in space.
It did.
Yeah, like something would go, give them hope that they might be able to communicate with the Alpha Quadrant or get home, and then something goes wrong, and that Harry Kim screwed it up again, and
yeah.
I liked when Q taught Picard a lesson.
I saw that episode yesterday. He brought them back to Sherwood Forest to be merry men.
Did they learn a lesson?
Q thinks he did.
I like when Q does that.
Yeah, Q is good. You're Q-like in your own way.
In many ways, like you are going to find out that I, like a trickster mentor, have been using Podtoid this whole time as an elaborate lesson about sharing. And when it's all revealed, I will go, do you understand what I have done? And you will say, you are so sage.
Well, the thing about Q, if I remember correctly, people may not know Q as a character introduced on Star Trek The Next Generation, back when Gene Roddenberry was still alive. And he was kind of a pompous, not particularly smart, but very powerful alien being, all-powerful by human standards. But unlike people would imagine God to be, he didn't have wisdom to go along with it. So he would just be like, Picard, I'd like you to be very hungry. See how that goes. And then Picard's just stuffing his face full of sandwich. It's like, this sucks, Q. Leave me alone. And he'd be like, no. Want to see how much more hungry you get. Just looking at him for an hour. It's so sad. So he would do that now and again.
I can't stop thinking about Patrick Stewart going, this sucks, Q.
That's what he was always thinking. He was just always to...
Make my tummy work proper.
Yeah, poor Patrick. But anyway, yeah. And it was interesting to see godlike powers with somebody who didn't have godlike perception and sensitivity. Cute.
Well, you could just read the Bible for that. Oh! That was, of course, light-hearted religious satire. I have no opinion on the Bible. That's not true. But for the purposes of this contrived disclaimer, I have no opinion on the Bible, and that was just a joke.
It was a good joke.
It was a fantastic joke, if not for the fact that it was real. Moving on!
Earthworm Jim is back.
Earthworm Jim is back. Fantastic.
In Boogerman 20th Anniversary. Story written by Jordan Devore. Right now on Destructoids.
Speaking
For a moment, I thought
of
you was telling me that Jordan Devore had written the story for Boogeyman.
No, Boogerman.
Boogerman.
New Boogerman coming.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Conrad?
nothing. I was just going to make off-color comments about the creator of Earthworm Jim. Carry on.
Yeah, I was actually gearing up for that. But we won't... People get very sick of people bringing Doug TenNapel's beliefs up, so we won't talk about the bigoted, homophobic fuck.
Who's different from Dave Perry, who was also involved with making Earthworm Jim, right?
If memory serves me correctly, I've got problems with him and all.
Oh, okay, good.
Let me just do a quick search.
Sure.
David Perry. Jim Sterling.
I'm really surprised
What
that
have I said about him?
this shows how obsessive and narcissistic I am. No one has mentioned how much Boogerman looks like a caricature of me on the Destructoid post. He is a bald...
It's true, though.
Yeah. It is true. It looks like he's making fun of me just by existing. But I don't think anyone's mentioned it in the post yet. Maybe on that much yesterday's news, guys. All that Pokemon story writing. People have truly... Oh, there it is. Derpiest Shazbot says Boogerman looks like Jonathan Holmes. I knew it would be in the... Just took a little while. Thanks, Derpiest.
It wasn't Dave Perry, it was some other David I had a problem with. One who just kept whining and whining and whining about used games. But like proper whining, and not even anything resembling facts to back up his assumptions.
He's a game developer or something?
Yeah, it was someone else. I think he may have done that. I'm not going to speculate, because I'll just end up naming someone wrong and getting into all sorts of discrepancies.
Sure.
Jonathan.
Well, speaking of game developers, Randy Pitchford paid $25,000 for Penn Jillette's ponytail.
So he's got money for things when he wants it.
$25,000 personally for a ponytail of a man who...
Well, Gillette is kickstarting a film. He wants to make a horror movie.
Okay.
And I mean, it's not Kickstarter; it's on some other crowdfunding site. But
sure.
Yes. So Randy Pitchford went and bought, at the funding level that allowed him to have Penn's ponytail. It's fucking magicians! I swear to God.
Oh, I forgot he was a magician.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I can't remember if when he cuts off Penn Jillette's ponytail, that's where his power is stored,
I was just about to. Yeah, I was going to go there too. It's true. If Randy possesses that, he will be able to call out when companies and things cry bullshit. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That was the appropriate amount of silence, I think, for my little dig at Gearbox.
I was thinking you were going to say something like he'll use the ponytail for magic or something. Is that what you?
No. I was making a joke about Penn and Teller's show Bullshit, where they talk about bullshit.
Oh, I
and
didn't know they had a show.
and then I was making a joke about how Gearbox Software spouted a load of bullshit with some of its games.
Well, Sega is making a new Aliens game. Is that right?
Yep, a new Alien game.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, it's a game all about shooting soldiers, Jonathan.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they got it half right. They said the game is gonna star one alien for the most part.
Okay.
It's you against one xenomorph. That potentially could be incredible. I am all for a game that scales it back to what Alien was about and just has you facing off. I mean, you think like on some of the games we've had, like Amnesia and Outlast and stuff, where horror's coming back in this sort of really interesting way. And you think, wow, you put a fucking alien in that? That's incredible. Conrad, don't play How to Survive when I'm talking to you.
What's How to Survive? Is that a video game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw his thing pop up on Steam. Rude. Actually, I'm going to play that after this as well. But yeah, so seemed really interesting. I'm all for that. Then you find out it's a first-person shooter, and you're fighting mostly clones and soldiers. That's what they said in or at least according to the Kotaku report.
How can they? What? So it's not that it's focused on an alien. It is kill anything but an alien.
It goes back to this infantile, cowardly belief that a game has to have combat in it at all times, or everyone's going to get bored. No matter how many times that's been disproven, the prevailing attitude is, oh my god, people will get bored if we're not constantly shoving the violence in their face. And I say this as a big fan of violent games.
Sure.
But that's their belief. Clearly. It's like, well, we want one xenomorph because then we can market it like an alien successor. But we can't just have one alien because then you haven't got millions of things to kill, so let's just put in some soldiers. Nah, you fucking idiots.
Who's making this one then?
Creative Assembly. So it might actually be a solid game, but let's just say I'm very skeptical about the direction so far. As always, I fucking hope to fucking fuck Jonathan that it is good. But, being told it's going to be a whole bunch of soldiers and shit, it's like, I don't play an Alien game to play every other video game in the world. I want it to be focused on the aliens. I could shoot soldiers anywhere. I can only fight xenomorphs in xenomorph games.
Sure.
Or at least run from xenomorphs. But I still think Sega should work with Telltale Games and do for Alien what they did with The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us.
That would be a pretty amazing
Yeah.
pairing.
I actually had to retweet. I'm so sorry, whoever said it on Twitter, but I can't remember your name. But I did retweet it because it was perfect. He just said, "Get away from her, you bitch. Alien Queen will remember that." Just perfect. And I would love Telltale. I've been pushing for it. I've been just publicly screaming about it for months. I want Telltale to get their hands on the Alien IP. It makes perfect sense. And I tell you, it would be a fuck sight better than a lot of the attempts at just trying to cram a first-person shooter into it. So, yeah, that's what I think anyway, Jonathan.
I love the idea.
Yeah.
Alien is
And it also, the new one, it's called Alien Isolation, and it also stars Amanda Ripley, Ellen Ripley's daughter. Which I can't fucking stand awkward cannon welding either.
Who's her father?
Bunkus Crispy.
I didn't know about the canonical love between Bunkus and Ellen.
Yeah, Bunkus Crispy. He was on the Nostromo in the first film. We just didn't see him. He slept through it.
That will be. They could have done a lot of different things other than that. Then still would have been good.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yep.
such is life. Sad life.
I would rather I would do a game about a xenomorph wanking on a ham sandwich.
Wanking what?
wanking on a ham sandwich.
But they don't have wank. They can't wank. They got no. You know how they reproduce. The thing jumps on their face. That's how they do it.
Tasty sandwich.
The alien doesn't masturbate. Don't got no sperms. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's fine. Sometimes I just say sentences just for your rebuttal. The concept of a xenomorph wanking on a ham sandwich isn't funny, but I know you will pick it apart, and then it will be great.
It's something worth getting serious about. They do have those tubes on the back. I guess he could kind of reach around and be like, is it working, guys? Anything coming out? Because he can't see it.
Yeah. At that point, he'd probably need help.
Maybe.
They'd probably need, like maybe Chucky from Child's Play to pop up there and give him a cheeky back jibber.
Those Child's Play movies have been on TV a lot.
Dude, have you seen the new one?
No, I want to.
Curse of Chucky, it's legit.
What?
Yeah.
It is fucking legit. And I tell you how it's legit. Because it's a movie that has seen all of these fucking cynical reboots and found a way to exploit that in a way that no other one has exploited it. It's so fucking clever.
So it is a reboot?
Huh?
It is a reboot?
Just watch it.
Is it out in theaters already, or what's going on?
This is what really puzzles me. It was straight to DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Huh.
Despite the fact that its quality is far above, like, the past few films. Like, miles above. I mean, there's some questionable acting, and some of the lines are a bit really awkward. But the actual, the story they tell in it, and the way they tell it, and just the conga line of holy shit moments toward the end, it's legit. I was so impressed with what they did. And the new, like, they didn't, like, totally redesign Chucky or anything. They just kind of have made a few subtle alterations, and they made it. Ugh.
Same voice actor?
Oh, absolutely, Brad Dourif's in it.
Alright, good.
As is his daughter.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so, interesting.
Yeah. Jennifer Tilly? In or out? Don't want to say? Spoiler territory?
It's hard to talk about the story of it, because it's worth just watching.
Because I do like Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky.
Yeah, I like Bride of Chucky, I've got to say. A lot of people think it's shit, but...
I liked Bride also. I didn't see Seed, though.
It's just a straight-up comedy. It's not even kind of a horror movie. It's the... which was the Nightmare on Elm Street movie that was just, like, beating up Freddy and laughing at him and then he dies? Probably. You remember that one? With Roseanne Barr and stuff?
That's Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which I
just watched that.
Well, you helped me get it, because I couldn't...
Oh, that's right.
I was trying to get an actual file I could edit for Movie Defense Force, and Conrad got one for me.
Oh.
I like Freddy's Dead a lot.
It's not scary, though, as I recall.
It's not scary, except the flashback scenes of Freddy Krueger before he got burned and went all, magic. Mm-hmm. Are genuine. There's a genuine kind of chillingness to Robert Englund without the makeup on. Huh. Just being a creepy father. Just being like a family man in this sort of twee green shirt in this twee pretty garden, who is also a serial killer. Yeah. Like, he'd have been scarier throughout the entire fucking series if that was his look. If
Didn't
he was just
kind of sweet too, like, oh, it's fine, guys.
Yeah, he had this whole, he's like, oh, mummy had to take her medicine, with this kind of, like, just this smile, but, like, not a smile, like the way a fucking crocodile or a shark would smile.
Sure. Like,
he was so good at that. It's every time I see those scenes, I think it was almost a waste to lather him up in all that makeup to be, the burned up Freddy Krueger.
Well, did you see the remake, 2010, I think it was?
I did. It was boring.
Yeah.
I liked it. just because they made it because there's all this established canon for Freddy Krueger, and so they do the reboot and they have the opportunity to possibly humanize him. And so they toy around with this, did he molest the children? Did he not molest the children? And so I liked the questioning that I got to experience while the movie carried
Yeah,
out.
I
But
mean, I will
it's
say
not a
that
great
for it.
movie.
Like that whole twist of he was falsely accused and then they sort of build that up into something else. That was clever. I just would have liked it into a movie that wasn't that slow and it
Yeah.
just felt so passionless to me for the most part. The Friday the 13th reboot, I genuinely enjoyed. I thought the Friday the 13th one was very good, and I say that as someone who, out of all the slasher movie guys, like Jason is my boy. So I was kind of very nervous about that one, but I watched it. I thought it was legit. I liked that one. I know Adam Dork, who used to produce Podtoid back in the day, he hated it. He was all like, "Oh, Jason doesn't use a bow. Jason doesn't run." But then canonically, that's none of those statements are true, because in the old films, he has been seen running and he has been seen using projectiles. So,
Well, I can't see why he wouldn't. Just like legs are bad or something, and doesn't like bows.
well, I mean, like Michael Myers, he does the whole stoic walking thing.
That's
But
more just like Tude.
yeah, I mean,
Limitations or anything.
yeah, he's perfectly capable of running. I forget which film it is, but I've seen him running in films before, before the reboot, and I saw him use a harpoon gun in Friday the 13th Part 3, which was a shit film, but he still did it. So that was good, and I haven't seen all of the Halloween reboots, the Rob Zombie one, but the stuff I saw I loved. I really liked all the whole backstory and the showing Michael Myers growing up in that institution with Malcolm McDowell's.
Sure. So you saw the first remake then?
Yeah, I haven't seen all of the first remake. I've just seen it in bits and bobs.
All right.
But I liked what I saw. And I also fucking love the fuck out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot.
Which one?
The one with the drill sergeant from, which we mentioned earlier, Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought... But then again, I always thought the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was fucking shit. So anything's an improvement. Yeah, at best, it makes me laugh.
It was meant to be a comedy. He was very disappointed that people were so freaked out by it. He felt like...
If he intended it to be a comedy, maybe I was enjoying it correctly.
You were. He meant for it to be a comedy. And if you watch the second one, where he had more money and prestige, that's just a straight up... I mean, it's gross sometimes, but it's very clearly intended to be...
Maybe I'll rewatch it then with the right mindset.
It's like Podtoid in a lot of ways.
Then again, I mean, I also watch The Shining as a comedy, so...
There's some funny parts to that movie that are... just the way that the actors come across. Same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is like Podtoid in that they kidnap a woman and they tie her to a chair, and there's a grandpa who they just want to feed the grandpa.
I remember the funny grandpa, yeah.
Sure, and there's a guy who's just like really loves pain and suffering and stuff. Get her with the sledge. And then there's the one guy who's like the cook. He's like, oh no, you gotta be polite to the girl. Don't treat her that way. Just get her. No, wait a minute. I changed my mind. We gotta treat her with respect now. Get her with the sledge. And I feel like that's what happens on Podtoid a lot.
It can be.
Psychologically.
In many ways, we are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of podcasts.
I think so.
It's a shame, though, that we just blew all of that good horror talk when it's the Halloween Podtoid next week.
Well,
I watched Dracula 3000.
I've never... is it worth watching?
No! Oh, okay, hang on. Coolio's in it.
3,000?
That's still 50-50 for me.
Wait, I know about Dracula 2000 with Rex Butler or whatever his name is. The guy from 300 plays Dracula, which is really weird. His name isn't Rex Butler, but
Rex
3,000? It seems like
yes, Dracula 3000.
What the heck happens in that?
It's a salvage crew in space find some scuttled ship in the Carpathia region of space.
Of course I do.
It's real subtle. And,
Yeah.
one by one get picked off because it's a space horror film. But, vampires. And Coolio becomes a vampire and is, obnoxious as shit. It's amazing, actually.
Maybe I have seen this. Yeah, he really mocks people a lot.
Yeah, well, and
right?
he's... Oh, God, he's like a space stoner.
Uh-huh.
It's really, really awful.
Was this after the roaring success of Jason X that they thought, let's do it with Dracula? That's what people want.
That could be.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
What?
But yeah, we're going to do a good Halloween episode next week
We are?
to make up for the failure to do one last year.
I'll have Kevin Dent over to my place.
He was getting angry at me on Twitter, so I just yelled in all caps, "Oh no, it's you!" And he didn't know what to do to that. And then he was like, "Sure, little boy," like trying to mock me, and I just sent him, I think, a clip of the Punky Brewster cartoon show starting, which is a Punky Brewster.
I'd love to see that continue. Him trying to... I mean, Kevin Dent, fair play to the man, tries to have a fight with everyone in the industry. I think he's going through a list.
Yeah.
Of just, who haven't I had a fight with yet? Okay, let's do that. And he'll be friends with you like 2 weeks later. But I like the idea of him fighting you because of the way you fight, which is things like that, like Punky Brewster cartoon clip. Like, you give nobody anything to go on.
Seems better that way for everyone.
Yeah.
I hope
It'd be like a shark trying to catch trying to bite a giant ball. Just can't get the purchase. I like it.
Yeah, I like to be the amorphous blob to Kevin Dent's shark.
Yeah.
I've been playing horror video games too. Let's just make this the horror episode. And then next week I'll ask my Max Scoville if he can be on for a funny Halloween episode, because he's funny. He might be able to do it. He quit Rev 3, I think.
Alright, let's make this the proto-Halloween special.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why fucking not, Jonathan?
Next week.
I've been in a Halloween mood today because I've been buying things.
What have you been buying?
I bought a few little things to fix up my Scarecrow outfit. Because I'll be filming the Jimquisition Halloween episode this week.
Okay.
And last year I did it as the Scarecrow, and I'm doing it again this year. Still haven't properly settled on what the actual subject of the episode will be, but I've definitely got Scarecrow nailed down. So I bought a few things just to fix up the costume because it was looking a bit tattery. And I ended up buying this mask. Let me just grab it. I want to look at it again because it's awesome. Come here, mask. So I went to buy a black, just like one of those hooded masks with the black covering over the face, so you look like some, hooded cloak thing where you can't see the face. Just so you couldn't see my eyes and mouth behind the burlap sack for the Scarecrow. And I came across this other fucking mask. There's Clive Barker does these, what was it? Dark Carnival masks or something.
What?
And they're all just really fucked up, weird masks. And
It's not Nightbreed, it's not Hellraiser, it's just the fucked up carnival.
Yeah, the fucked up carnival. And I've got this Fishman mask, right? It's just purple with big fishy flat fins on either side for ears and a big fin at the top, yellow. Purple and yellow. It's got 3 rows of teeth with a big mouth that looks a bit like a monstrous vagina. And all over it, just in garish colours, there's a tattoo of a butterfly on one ear, a bird flying through a heart on the other, dice and a snake, and a spider and a skull. Just all over it. And it's all just hot yellows and reds and purples and greens and stuff. It's a brilliant mask. It's my favourite thing I've ever bought, Jonathan. I took a photo of it. It's on my Facebook and on Twitter.
Sounds awesome.
So good. I'm going to wear this everywhere I go. I'm going to scare the shit out of Connor with it later.
I don't know what to do for Halloween this year. I like Halloween, but what do you do at this point?
Murder a boy.
For Halloween.
Yep. As a Halloween treat.
Treat for...
The boy.
He wants to die, the boy?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Don't do it then.
I won't do it then.
Alright.
I've been playing Castlevania Rondo of Blood for Halloween. That's about right.
That's how it goes.
There are songs that a lot of people think came from Symphony of the Night that I think came from this game. Because it is like the Symphony of the Night prequel. But, as you probably know, you get to unlock a 12-year-old girl who just throws birds at people. Or zombies, in this case.
Legit?
Yeah, she's just like, ah! Just throws birds, and instead of getting a holy water, she gets a cat. And she just throws the cat, and it's like, meow! Gets very angry at you. And if you press select, and if you have enough hearts, just a giant cat shows up. And she knows a dragon as well, and other birds, different from the birds she normally throws. Another power-up is different birds.
I've always found, one thing I found charming about Castlevania is how it does these stupid, silly things. Like, a lot of what happens in it is stupid and silly. Like, little flea men, they're stupid. Throwing cats, they're stupid. The shit that goes on in, what was it, Dawn of Sorrow, where just bits of monster are coming out of you. Like, it's very esoteric and bizarre and stupid. And yet it's all presented with this dour, depressed disconnect. They're utterly humorless about it. And it's this weird, jarring sort of element to it that I've always found just uniquely charming in Castlevania.
I used to think of that as kind of the Konami trademark, is that they'd be like, all right, we're taking serious Hollywood movie times. We're taking Contra. We're using stuff from Alien and Rambo and Schwarzenegger movies, making Contra. But then it's just completely silly with like a turtle man running whatever those soldiers are. You can't take them seriously. Castlevania you can't take totally seriously. Metal Gear tries to be all dour and serious like a Hollywood movie, but then they keep the exclamation points all the way up until the PS3 version popping above their heads and stuff. So it embraces silly video game logic and melded with serious Hollywood logic and makes the most of both of them. Makes the most? Most. Oh, talky bad. Sorry.
I forgive you.
You know what I meant. I went on a little bit long about it. But
No, you made the point. Very well made.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Splatterhouse 2 I've been playing.
Oh, nice.
You should play it. I got back into it because I discovered that a person is currently fighting very hard to become the world champion of Splatterhouse. And she is somebody that has a great Tumblr, or I think it's just a regular .net website, filled with horror gifs. So she is someone that I'm following now, thinking, what's going to happen with them? Are they going to be the new Splatterhouse champion? She was for a day, and then she lost, and now she's trying to win again.
Oh.
I'm looking at her website right now. There are boobs on it, and Elvira, and a Bates Motel video game graphic. It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
What's it called?
She is, her name is Caitlin Oliver, and it's C.I. Pater, like Pater.net. She loves horror. She introduced me to a game that maybe Conrad knows about already, because Conrad is the literate member of the group. Do you know this game, Conrad? And YouTube Jim, of course. It's called I Have No Mouth, But I Must
Scream. Yeah, it was written by Harlan Ellison.
Yeah, that's a game from 1995.
I actually played that for my YouTube channel. When
I
it
have a
was
copy of
Steam.
it somewhere here too, yeah. It's a really cool game.
And while it was uploading, I went and read the actual story. And
it's so weird that would happen. Because I was just...
The story's so good.
Mm-hmm.
How is when's the YouTube video going up, Jim?
Oh, that was up. That's up.
How did I miss that?
I did it the day it hit Steam.
Oh, that was, what, the 20th or the... 18th?
Oh, it's on Steam now. I didn't realize.
Just this past week, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, I've got a copy on disc with, like the booklet. I think it's at my parents' house in Phoenix. I saw it there last time I was down. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Does it give you the spooks?
It's atmospheric.
It looks creepy. A lot of the backgrounds look painted or pre-rendered, but the characters are lower res sprite, like better than Monkey Island, but lower than PlayStation 1 quality for the most part. 1995, so it's right in there between technological advances.
Well, I mean, it was written by the author of the original story, and
So
he
it's
also did the voice of Amber, the computer AI that's doing all the bad things to the people.
Well, for people who don't know, I guess we should tell them the premise. It takes place in the future, and there's only 5 people left alive. Is that right?
Yep.
And there's a computer that just loves to torture them and tell them they suck.
Basically.
In weird character-specific tortures, like the caveman type guys just getting knives shown to him. Like, we could stab you with these. They're getting close. We'll take them away. Oh, maybe we'll stab you.
Yeah, I mean, in the original story, Am enjoyed sort of turning people into the opposite of what they were before he got his sort of metaphorical hands on them. One of the better-known sort of elements of that is one of the characters used to be gay, and he just sort of broke his mind to try and turn him straight.
Huh.
And gave him a massive penis, and then had him have sex with the woman of the group.
Oh.
Constantly.
What did the woman of the group think of that?
Well, she used to be very sort of, or at least the story tells us she claimed she was very sort of virginal and all that. And of course, Am then turned her into the opposite of that, as just this sort of basically.
So then it's working out well for her. This is a good match. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You're not touching that one. And the computer is doing this because it wants to prove that machines are better than.
Not quite.
No.
No. The general premise is it hates humans. It's not really trying to prove anything, it just hates them. It's implied, it's never really mentioned in the story, but explicitly, but it's implied he hates them for creating it.
Oh, interesting.
In fact, no, I think it may be explicitly mentioned that because basically the computer within itself is almost a god.
Uh-huh.
That's the idea. It's tortured these people and kept them alive for over 100 years. But with all of its power, it can't actually do anything. It can't move. It can't be a person. It can't actually shape the world. It can just bring people into itself and then just torture them. And that's all it's got. And so, because humans did that to it, gave it all this power but no real ability.
Sure.
And it just has kept... I think it's mentioned in the story, the reason it's kept 5 people alive isn't just because, it hates humans. It's to allow it to keep hating humans. It uses them to practice hating humans. It's so just... The psychology of that story is just... It's exciting in just how messed up it is. It's beautiful stuff.
Well, it sounds very true to how it would probably be if there was an all-powerful thing. What would it push up against? Where would any sort of friction or resistance come from if it controls everything everywhere? It would need to have some sort of random element that it's not controlling in order to have something to bounce off of or to interact with. Otherwise, it's totally alone, mentally and otherwise. So that's fun. What are the goals? What do the people want to do in the game? What's their motivation?
In the game, it's... there are 5 characters that you can choose to play as, and they each have their own little sort of hellhole scenario. And it's revealed throughout the game that Am is telling them, although it could be bullshitting them, that there is a way to destroy it, and it's interested to see if they could do that.
Huh.
And it's an interesting thing, and he sort of forces characters to confront things from their past and things that have traumatized them and stuff. And if you kill yourself in the game, there are many ways you can accidentally kill yourself. Then the computer will just laugh at you for trying to escape. And it's done by the guy who wrote the original story voices the computer, and he just goes so over the top with it. He's just, you thought you could get away from me? No, you can't. Just so over the top, it's glorious.
Sounds better than a lot of games in terms of writing and passion behind delivering a story. It sounds a lot better than games today. A lot of them.
Well, I mean, you certainly don't get games that are bold enough to use that kind of source material.
Mm.
I mean, the original short story is considered by many to be one of the premier nightmare fuel sources.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just stuff that stays in your mind uncomfortably. And games don't like to do that.
Sure.
But some of them should. Not all of them.
I can imagine if they made it today, they'd have you shooting a bunch of clones
Yeah.
a few hours, and then eventually you get to a psychological threat. You'd solve the puzzle. But
Yeah. I have no mouth and I must shoot clones and soldiers.
well, sounds like it's worth checking out. I should probably write on Destructoid that it came out there, because that's fun news for the people. Should I do the questions soon? I'm flexible. I can keep prattling on about whatever. Or I can do the questions. It's up to you. It's up to you.
Whatever.
Actually,
Yes.
I got a Willem Dafoe movie pitch.
Whoa, you do?
Oh, yo, ass.
That's a nice treat.
It's good. I came up with this one yesterday, actually. When I was thinking of, just random sentences in my head that I then am now going to desperately try and extrapolate into a full-fledged bit. But it's a new movie. For those of you this might be your first Podtoid, which always makes me laugh, the concept of someone having their first Podtoid. If it is, every now and then, we like to come up with ideas for movies for acclaimed Hollywood actor Willem Dafoe to star in. He's got a big dick and a big heart. And we have come up with all sorts of films, haven't we, Conrad and Jonathan, haven't we?
Oh, sure we have, yeah.
Loads. Too many. A stupid amount. But here's a new one. So, Willem Dafoe stars in A Moment on the Nips, A Lifetime Full of Slips.
What? Nipples, probably, you mean by nips.
Well, let's find out. Willem Dafoe is a car salesman. He is called Mr. Car Seller Man. Mr. Car Sellerman.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? He is Mr. Car Sellerman. It is the bad economy, and he is worried that he might not sell enough cars. And he wants to be a success in business. That's all he's ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is to be a success in business, Roseanne Barr. This character. He says to Roseanne Barr's character, played by Roseanne Barr.
Oh.
And Roseanne Barr is all like, ooh!
She does.
Well, Car Solomon, I may just be a humble sous chef in Gordon Ramsay's glittering West End restaurant, but I think that you could be a success in business. You're right, Roseanne Barr's character, but I'm gonna need help from a witch doctor.
What? I'm already having trouble following this. I am part of my problem. I've been a little...
So I'm going to level with you. He said, I'm going to do a Willem Dafoe movie pitch. And so I took off my headphones and I got up and I went and I got some medicine. And I came back in just in time to hear him say sous chef and Roseanne Barr's character. And I was like, yeah, I can't have missed that much.
It was making sense a little bit, other than the fact that the guy is named Car Sellerman. But then something about... Did I just dream about cough medicine right now, or did you say something about it?
No. He's going to be a success in business, but he needs the help of a witch doctor.
Okay.
Because of the bad economy.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, all right, yeah.
I can do it.
Gotcha.
This makes total sense. Don't get up and get medicine when I'm doing when I'm sharing my art. I'm gonna need that. Sorry, that started off a bit. I'm gonna need the help. I'm gonna need the help of a witch doctor because of the bad economy. So he goes to see a witch doctor, played by, appropriately enough, Brad Dourif.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah. Brad Dourif, wearing one of those big masks. Like the one from Crash Bandicoot. And he's all like, hey, I heard you needed witch doctor magic. And he's like, yeah, I do, witch doctor. I want to be a success in business. That's all I've ever wanted. Well, you know what? I can sort that out for ya. Come over here and give me that nipple.
What?
I don't understand what you're talking about, but I'm game for anything. So he takes off his shirt and presents his right pectoral breast to Brad Dourif, who takes a mystical red powder and just rubs it in a circular motion on his nipple, and he's just like,
Ugh.
you like that?
Ugh.
And Willem Dafoe's like,
Gross.
it's quite good. You like it when I do this? Yeah, it's pretty good. How about if I do this?
I held it for as long as I could.
That's what Willem Dafoe says as well. I held it for as long as I could. Yeah, you just did a magic cum. Because that's what I do as a shaman. So anyway, after Willem Dafoe has a magic orgasm and light comes out of his pants, the witch doctor says, the trial is complete. You've got your magic powers. You're gonna be a success in business. I don't know what this voice is, but beware the price you gotta pay. I love paying prices, because I believe in capitalism. God bless America, even with its bad economy. So he goes off, totally unaware of it. He doesn't care about the price. And he goes into work the next day, and the boss, played by Brendan Fraser, says, Carl Salazman! You just sold a car for 8 million English pounds! You're fantastic. You're the best car salesman we've ever had, car salesman. Here, I want you to have your commission at double the rate. And £100. Wow, and £100. I never could have believed my luck. Give me that money. And he reaches up to get the money, and underneath the underarm of his shirt tears and rips down just across the right breast of his shirt, and his nipple falls out. It just appears and just slips out of the hole. And Brendan Fraser looks at it and says, oh my God! You just nip-slipped! Roseanne Barr's character! Come look at this fucking nipple! And Roseanne Barr's character runs in and says, oh my goodness! I've never seen anything quite like it! A nip-slip! And everyone in the whole car dealership, customers, other salesmen, all turn around and point. And Willem Dafoe's trying to cover it up, but his hands are shaking so much he can't cover up the nipple adequately enough. And it's just you just see it between his fingers. Just don't look at me! I'm ashamed! Oh, the shame! I feel like a harlot! And he runs to the bathroom and cries. Next day he gets promoted. Because he's still a success in business. And Brendan Fraser says, after yesterday's stellar performance and awesome nip-slip, I am retiring from this car dealership, and you are the new regional manager. I'll put in a good warrant for you. I'm off. Fuck you. And he jumps on a bicycle and rides away. And Willem Dafoe says, well, now I am the king of this car dealership. Looks like I gotta make some changes. Everyone, to the meeting room for a meeting. Brings them all in to the meeting room for a meeting, and he's got a projection up on the screen, and he's like, we must do this for profits. And there's the word profits flashes on the screen, and everyone claps. Yes, profits are good for business, is what one of the characters says. Steve Buscemi. He just says, yes, profits are good for business. And then there's a phone call, and Roseanne's Barr character answers it. And, hello, this is the car dealership. Oh, my word. Car salesman, after your stirring speech, profits are up 250%. We've made £2 million. And Willem Dafoe says, yes, everybody, celebrate with me. And he punches his fist up in the air, tearing his shirt.
Uh-oh.
Rips across, nipple falls out. Oh my goodness! Look at that nipple! I shame you, sir! I shame you! And everyone in the boardroom is just laughing, like, for a full 10 minutes. It's on Steve Buscemi's face, red, tears streaming down. Just, nipple! Yes, a nipple! Like that. All the while, like, Willem Dafoe is huddled in the corner, crouched and cupping his knees, just going, oh, don't look at me! Don't look at me!
That shamed about the nipple?
It's the highest shame in America. When someone sees your nipple when you don't want them to see your nipple. That's what he says to his therapist. Oh, it's the worst shame in the world. Hugo Weaving. I didn't want them to see my nipple at that time. And they saw it anyway. Well, it seems to me that you might be just trying to get attention, mate, is what Hugo Weaving says, writing in a pad. I'm not doing it for attention. Well, what were you wearing at the time, sir? Just wearing my salesman's shirt. Salesman's shirts are famous for having shit structural integrity. Raising your arm like that, you should have known what happened. Get out of here, you whore! And then Hugo Weaving grabs Willem Dafoe's shirt and tears it open and points at it and says, I knew it! You have got nipples, you trust-up hussy! Get out of here! Never come back! And he runs away just holding his chest, just crying. Jonathan.
Why?
Because it's nipples.
I thought he had worked it out, that he saw that he didn't need to...
No, but that's basically the premise of the film, is he gets more and more successful, and the nipples are just revealed in, like, more and more outlandish ways. Like that time he fell asleep on a sunbed, and a kid was playing with a magnifying glass, and the magnifying glass went over the sun, and just laser-pointed sunlight at his right breast, and burned a hole in the shirt. And then his nipple hung out. And all the kids at the swimming pool pointed at him and said, paedophile, you're showing us your nipple. And he ran away going, I'm not a pedophile, I'm a car salesman! Like that. I feel like you're not on board with me.
It is harder when me and Conrad are both sick. So, processing new information.
And there was a lot of information there.
There was a lot. You are energetic.
I didn't even get to the bit where he hosts the Super Bowl. And Evil... But it's brilliant, Conrad. Evil Knievel is going to jump over a shark. That's not a metaphor for this pitch. On a motorbike. And Willem Dafoe slips out of the audience balcony on the floor, catches the sole of his shoe in the back of the bike. The bike speeds up a ramp, jumps over the shark tank. The shark jumps up, tries to bite at Evil Knievel, misses, grabs Willem Dafoe's shirt, and tears a perfectly circular hole in it just over his nipple. And everyone's laughing, and Evil Knievel's shouting, you can see the areola and everything.
Oh.
That's where the movie ends as well, incidentally. It's just him just weeping, just Willem Dafoe in tears, with his nipple just hanging out.
What's this one called again?
A Moment on the Nips, A Lifetime Full of Slips.
There were a lifetime full of slips.
That's the point of the film.
There was more than just a moment on the nips, wasn't it?
I'm trying to make a statement about Cambodia.
Yeah.
Ah.
Cambodia. Was there anyone in Cambodia?
That was a first-rate pitch. How dare the both of you?
No, that was not bad. It was the nip slip thing was good. I'm just tired.
I like the whole thing, but I
Yeah.
have stuffy nose, achy.
Screw the therapy. I'm going to go play with my new Surface Pro 2 now.
Oh no! Don't do
You
that.
got a Surface Pro too?
Yeah, because I'm a piece of shit, Conrad.
What is that? Is that like something you put on your glasses or something?
No, it's a tablet for pieces of shit.
Oh, okay. It's not the Google Glass.
No, it's like, do I want like a Galaxy Note, or do I want an iPad? No, I feel like being a piece of shit. So I'm gonna drop $1,000 on this thing that doesn't quite know what it is, and I love it.
Really?
Fuck it, I adore it. It's exactly what I wanted. It's like that Nvidia Shield, useless to 90% of the population. To the 10%, it's a godsend. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted something that couldn't be fucked to be a tablet and couldn't be fucked to be a laptop.
Okay. I'm still not seeing the upside. Like I guess I'm in the 90%.
This is so legit. I played Eldritch on this,
Oh, I've been playing a lot of Eldritch.
on a tablet, with a wired controller.
Uh-huh.
What's the point of that? There is none, but you feel spectacular. I like it. I needed something that wasn't an iPad because that's too restrictive. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain the appeal of it, other than I like it. But
Well, I mean, like, because I have this Motorola tablet that I've had for a couple of years now, and it's a fine device. I use it to read my email and to read books on, and I don't feel the need to upgrade until my book reading software no longer functions.
I mean, basically, what it does for me is it's the versatility of it. I mean, I can have the type cover thing magnetized onto it, and I've got a full keyboard, and I've got a wireless mouse, and it's got a little kickstand at the back, and it just acts, and it's got a full desktop, like not just the Windows 8 mobile interface, but a full desktop on top of that. So I can use it like a proper full-on laptop, but then I can also just yank everything out and just use apps, and then I've got a tablet as well. But for me, it was the fact that I used my iPad a lot, but it was just too restrictive. I mean, it plays maybe 50% of the good porn sites. It doesn't play escapist videos. But this will do that because it's got that full functioning desktop as well, so there's no arbitrary restrictions, none of this, you can't use Flash, none of this shit. So it's just the versatility of it that I loved. That, and I can play Dungeon Keeper on it.
That sounds fun.
I loved it. I really am in love with it. I'm getting a lot of use out of it already. I did the usual things, which is install Jetpack Joyride on it, and then Google. You install Jetpack Joyride on any new device you get, no matter what the device is, and then you search for random things on Google.
I only sort of know what Jetpack Joyride is. It's like a game where you fly.
You're a bad man.
It seemed alright. It's very... You gotta admit, the name doesn't demand, like, you must play this.
Well, they changed it. It was originally going to be called Machine Gun Jetpack, which is a way more interesting name.
Sounds way better, yeah.
I forget what they changed it for.
I think it was because it was a machine gun.
Yeah, I think that was it. They just wanted to make it more family-friendly sounding.
Sure.
But, I mean, that's what it is. Your jetpack is a machine gun. And it's the force of the bullets coming out of it that make it fly up.
Oh, they did that in Cave Story.
Let's not think about that.
Well, no, yes. Okay, yes. Now, so imagine that the submachine gun that you get from Curly in Cave Story, that's your method of moving upwards and downwards, and it's an auto-running platform game.
Sounds good. Except
there you go.
a lot of auto-running platform games. That whole genre much as minigame collection at one point was like, oh, cool, a minigame collection. That'll have some creative, interesting, fun ideas. And then the Wii happened. And it was like, oh, minigame collection. Auto Runner sort of gone that way too. It used to be like, oh, an uncommon genre. New
Well,
ideas.
it's kind of like how I feel about zombie games. It's like, okay, you say zombie game to me, and I'm like, "Ugh, I've had enough of those. But as long as it's still a good zombie game, I will be happy with it.
Sure.
And Jetpack Joyride is that. Like, I mean, it's one of the top tier running games.
Oh, cool. I should play it then.
And the music is phenomenal. Like, it just plays one song throughout the whole thing, but it's a phenomenal track.
How about, you were talking about How to Survive. I saw a video of that once. I forgot until I thought about it for longer. It's like a top-down-ish, you're a guy making a shack and monsters come out that look like people? What is that?
Yeah, you're on an island, and or there's a series of islands, like 4 of them or 5 of them, something like that.
Tropical islands?
Yeah, tropical-ish island zombie infestation thing, and it's top down. It controls like a dual stick shooter.
Huh.
And it's got a pretty deep crafting system, and you have to keep yourself fed and hydrated, and you have to sleep. It's pretty neat so far.
How do you sleep if there's zombies around?
There are shelters set up around the islands, and so you'll go to one. Then you have to clear it out of any zombies that are there, but then you can close it up and sleep there.
Can the zombies break in while you're sleeping?
No.
Ah, okay. So there are some safety times.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a safety time per se, because time just passes instantly when you go to sleep.
Oh, you don't just watch them sleeping for a while and think I'm safe?
No, not really.
I would want to.
It does that thing they do in the movies where they want to demonstrate a passage of time. You know, they do a time lapse of the sky or some crap like that, and they speed it up. Yeah, they just do that.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Huh? Is it just like see how long you can play till you die, or?
Well, there's a story mode,
Okay.
which is all I've done, and I haven't done much of it.
Huh.
But I think there's also just sort of a long-term survival bit with other campaigns. It's got multiplayer of some sort. It's got local multiplayer, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
I want to play it.
Neat.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I have never got sick of the idea of zombies in games. It never gets old to me. But I haven't played all the zombie games, so I haven't probably burnt out on it in the same way that people who play each and every one have. So I'm all for it. I'm all for a new, interesting use of the zombie in a game that sounds like, the way you describe it, it sounds more strategy and resource farming and use than it does straight up action.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of resource gathering, it looks like.
That's alright with me. I like Lost in Blue from Animal Crossing. If there's some zombies in there, it could be good.
Yep, that's pretty much what you're looking at.
Thanks for the rundown, Conrad. I'm going to ask the Podtoid questions. I tweeted them. Press the tweet button. I think somebody was pre-asking them. Blah, blah, blah. People want to know if I'm going to PAX East. Probably. I haven't really thought about it too much.
Well, you may be too late.
Oh, well, I would be going as a member of the press.
Oh, well then, yeah, I guess you're probably fine.
I would not pay.
Oh, and you live there.
Yes, I do.
I'm just already thinking about the hotels being all booked.
Oh, no. Don't have to fly. Don't have to pay. And if they've let me in every year so far. I've gone to 4 PAX.
Fools!
Well, they may like me just fine. My last words with them, they apologized kind of to me once, so maybe they don't really hate me. But I don't know them personally, but boy, the horror stories keep hearing. So I wouldn't be sad if I didn't go, to be honest. But I live around here, so I can hang around with everybody who's going and say hi to them after they leave. That could be fun. But if there's work to be done there and Destructoid says, hey, we would like you to go, then I will go. For sure. Cyrus Tang asks, and he's Uindan Cyrus. I think he asked a question last week, too. Are you going to review Dual Destinies? That's Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. how nice of you to ask. I don't feel like I need to review it because Jonathan Ross's review was so good. It is a review that I wish I wrote. He wrote such a great review. I was so happy. I read it like 3 times. It's one of the happiest reviews I've read in a while. So that'll be up any second now. I'm excited about that. Thank you for asking. That is not a question for everybody, though. Appialo Joaquin. What is that? It's like Happy Halloween, but instead of ween, it's
A lot
show.
of people have changed their
Oh,
Twitter names for Halloween. I did it for a couple of days and then got kind of bored and concerned by it. But,
he's Kazakh player.
yeah. There are some good ones. Nicholas Chester at the moment is Nick Goulish Chester.
I like it when he does stuff like that. He was Nick Brutal for so long.
He was.
Yeah, that was fun.
He told me, it was one of the first things he ever told me when he brought me on. He said, we recommend you use your real name because when you get introduced to an executive as Mr. Brutal, you kind of feel a bit self-conscious.
Yeah, pros and cons to that for certain, but it is overall better to use your real name. He asks, how radical were the new radicals? I would say they were 30% radical.
They were definitely more new than radical.
Sure.
There were more radical than them. Unless we're talking about the new radicals with a Z from wrestling. They were very radical.
Mm-hmm. Wait, who? There's wrestling radicals with a Z?
Maybe I was wrong.
Well, Toby is inviting...
The Radicals with a Z! It starred Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit. Let's not talk about them anymore.
I sort of know about them. I think my wife likes them. Karnav Tweet Now wants to know, why not more ladder in video games? It's a solid question. I love ladders in video games, particularly in Mega Man. I love the stairs in Castlevania. I like any sort of ascending and having it change the way the game plays for a little while while you're climbing up something. And I think
Karnov. Karnov was the shit. Because one of the very first things you do is get that ladder that you could put up anywhere you want to.
I think it's like his main power-up.
Pretty much. And then you climb up and you go the step down and he picks it back up.
The music is great in Karnov, too. I'm thinking about it now. You have to hear it for yourself. I think it's only one song.
Space Panic is classic ladders.
I don't know about Space Panic ladders. No.
It's a lot like Lode Runner.
Oh, all right.
Played Lode Runner, except it was like one screen, and it was an arcade game, and you had a shovel, and aliens would be moving around the map, and you would dig holes, and then the aliens would fall into them, and then you would close them in, and then they would die.
That does sound a lot like Lode Runner.
Yeah.
Because unlike Karnov, Lode Runner's deal was he could make a hole happen.
Right.
And then win the hole.
Or make a hole not happen.
He could make a hole not happen? He could fill a hole?
I think so, right?
You're probably right. It's been a while. They made Lode Runner for the NES, and that made me feel uncomfortable, and then I stopped.
I played it on computers.
Yeah, Commodore 64 is where I loved it. And the NES version made me feel like I was in trouble for some reason. Give me a panic. Jim doesn't have anything to say about ladders, I don't think, do you?
Fuck ladders.
Games you find overrated. This is from Sean Keane, which is SEEAANNK. That is trouble, Sean Keane. You didn't have to do that. It's so hard to remember and spell. Any games you think, man, that's overrated, that game? I don't think you do.
I don't know. I mean, there are many games I dislike and don't understand why people do like them, but I wouldn't say overrated. I find the term overrated implies that you're trying to say someone can't have an opinion, so I try not to use it. I mean, there are certainly games where I don't see how they rated as highly as they did. Like, I still don't know why people think the story in Beyond or Heavy Rain is good. I never got the fascination with the first Mass Effect game. And I don't understand why Assassin's Creed is as big as it is. But, you know, people clearly like them, and I can't. It's saying it's overrated says it's your fault for having fun with something I didn't have fun with. So, yeah, I wouldn't say overrated.
Sure. I did have an idea when it comes to how we rate games that you will not go for. But if I were the king of Destructoid reviews, I would probably demand everyone change their reviewing system to not a score of the game, but a compatibility score, like a dating site between you and the game, like how much you love each other.
You're going to e-harmonize game reviews.
Yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. See how it goes, you know? Like for me, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies, I already know it's going to be like a match made in heaven. You love each other forever. You're kissing the screen right now. 10 out of 10. Whereas me and like Call of Duty would be like, I can see why anybody out there who wants a hot time with a gun would love it, but I just don't feel it, guys. Yeah, that's what I would do. Then you couldn't say it was overrated. It was just not compatible.
Yeah, could do that.
Good. Tremulant wants to know, do you have Conquer Bad Fur Day?
Oh, so that's continuing, is it?
I think so.
I preferred it when it was Battletoads.
I don't know what that means.
It's funny because I was actually rereading that whole thing the other day. But
What?
basically, it was decided at one point that people would phone up all the GameStops in America and ask them if they have Battletoads.
Huh.
Constantly.
Why?
Because why not?
A prank. It's a
Yeah,
prank.
basically, it was a big prank, and some people got pretty inventive with it, and eventually, I think when after the Wii came out, they kept asking for Battletoads Wii. Some person phoned up and was trying to pre-order like Battlefield, or they said, "Do you have Battle?" And then the person hung up because they got Battletoads all day, and then they phoned back up and demanded to speak to the manager because they tried to get Battlefield, and then strung them along for ages before then saying, "But actually, I think you've sold me on this Battletoads thing." Just people really went to town, like drove some managers insane because the sheer amount of people that phoned up. So, yeah.
Interesting.
It's seeming. I mean, I've only seen a few little bits of this Conquer Bad Fur Day thing, but it seems like they're trying to go for that.
Fur Day. Yes, I do.
I have it.
I have it for Xbox and I have it for N64. Thank you for asking.
I've got a copy on my Nvidia Shield. It doesn't work very well.
It was on the NVIDIA Shield?
Not officially,
Oh, interesting.
but I legally obtained a copy of a version I own. Probably.
I only have it on the N64, and I never truly got into it, but I was fun with it. It was a fine game, I guess. Didn't want to play it. People from Way Forward are asking us questions
Oh
again.
God, again.
Bad Tyranny, who is Adam Tyranny, asks, if Kirby wasn't as Pokemon, why would Ash? I don't know why he's doing this thing to me lately. Over the weekend, he was like, Jonathan, why isn't Pokemon And I was like, Adam, why would you do that? And then Lindsay Collins, who is working with Way Forward on a secret project, and she did the art for Teenage Pokemon. So she's my friend, I think. She's like, yeah, Jonathan, Pokemon, Just like, why are you? They were haunting me for a while. They are my friends, though. It was cute. Austin Ivan Smith, more serious question. He is the director of DuckTales Remastered and other games at Way Forward. He asks, why did you guys, did you guys get the 2DS? Thoughts? Felt heavy and awkward in my hands, and now I plan to get a 3DS XL instead. So he's not into the 2DS. A lot of people love it. It is great to have the choice, though I think everyone needs to play it first before they find out. I'm not going to buy one just because it would be such a vanity waste of just be a collector's purchase that serve no real purpose other than to say I had one.
Pretty much the same here.
Yeah. They're fine, though. People seem really happy with them. A lot of the people who bought one. As long as they tried it first. Then they were happy. So that's your answer, Austin. I do wonder if I would should have put this in the post where I wrote about why I didn't get into Pokemon X. If I played it on the 3DS XL, I might have liked it more. because part of my problem was I just couldn't see a lot of the characters very easily. They were like too far away in the camera during the battles. So maybe my whole problem was just the console I played it on. So many questions came in. I don't know how many more to do. Adam Tierney asks, do you think that Blaster Master? Bitch.
Keep doing that, Adam.
Yeah, he is fine. He is tough. Who else? Scream J Helendez, R613 wants to know chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla. That's hard. It's harder than you'd think, that question. And how you answer it says a lot about you, I think. Someone is just making a sad face in gym. I'll get to that question in a second. I would say overall chocolate is the safest bet, though all three is best. Chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla together is incredible flavor. At its best, vanilla is top class. Strawberry, when you're in the mood for something a little different, or a little cheeky fondle, as Jim might say.
You didn't pick one. Just pick one.
I didn't. That's all that I can do.
Chocolate. Christ.
Yeah, I'll have that one as well. We can move on.
I want to sample that in a rap song. Just have the chorus be chocolate Christ. It's called Chocolate Christ. The song. Shadow 59. Yeah.
What? Jesus was Jewish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chocolate Christ would be a good song, though. He says, this isn't a question, by the way. It's weird that he just wants this to happen. He says, I think Jim is oversaturating the web, the entire web, with too much content. He used to be limited edition. Now he rarely registers with me, frowny face. My advice to him, off the bat, and this isn't in defense of Jim, this is defense of anybody who's like, there's too many blank things. Just don't get them all. Like, if you aren't in the mood for a Jim thing every day, just limit yourself to every other day or space it out.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I do reviews on Destructoid.
Mm-hmm.
I do, two things a week, and then one other thing every other week on The Escapist. And the other stuff is kind of relegated to my YouTube channel right now. That ain't too much. And I mean, I do at least one thing a day on my YouTube channel, but you don't have to go there. That's actually going right out of your way to see it.
You can space them out, too. The thing about having a lot of stuff that's good that you like from Jim Sterling, because he obviously likes your stuff, or else he wouldn't even bring it up. People have this sense that, a new thing came out, I need to ingest it right now. Nah, put it in your Google Docs calendar, dog. Have an alert come up and say, hey, it's been a week. Let me watch that Let's Play from last Tuesday. See if I enjoy it. You could have a lifetime of content out of you, Jim, if you just spaced it out.
Yeah.
Not too much cheese on the pizza. Space out your cheese. Jim, you are the cheese on the pizza on the internet.
Yeah, that's me.
Tastes good.
Yeah.
You're still upset about about the Willem Dafoe pitch.
That's fine. No, I actually, what happened is I went to that cipater.net that Jonathan mentioned, and I'm just now hypnotized by all the gifs.
She has great gifts up there. If she becomes the champ of Splatterhouse, because she was, and then she lost it, and now she's working to gain it again. If I can think of enough excuses to have her come on Sub Holmes sometime next year and just talk about horror gifts, I will probably do that. Because she'll be a world champ, and she's going to be in documentaries and stuff like this too. So she will have enough stuff to talk about, hopefully. Jennifer, this will be the last one. Jennifer Cowett, who is Aurora Melody 2, says, third time's the charm. So that is advice, I think, period. What do you guys think about speedrunning video games?
More power to the people who can do it.
I think it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I would... Anthony Birch actually has a new website. I wonder if I know the name of it. No Wrong Way to Play, I think it's called. I'll have to double check. I'll use my Google. Maybe you guys Google faster than me and you can find out if that's right. You Googling? You Googling? You guys Googling?
Google it up.
I'm trying to,
Yep.
but
Dick.
I'm to play Anthony. I'm pretty good at typing. I'm in the dark, so I can't see.
What's the premise of the site?
It is.
While you're doing that.
It is. It is called No Wrong Way to Play. I am correct. It's Anthony's new blog. He's blogging about it. Any way you want to play a video game, you choose arbitrary or not so arbitrary rules for yourself, like a no death run in Far Cry 2 or a pacifist run in blah blah blah, or a speed run. You know, have to get through level in a certain amount of time, or else you start over. And he's got a blog dedicated to all of that stuff and different ideas about looking at games and playing them in different ways to get something new out of them. Pretty fun. And of course, you get that Anthony Birch writing, which everyone loves. So that's fun. I'm going to be checking that website out and hope he does some speed runs on there. I would love to see a speed run of something like. No, I've already seen it. That's one problem. There's been speedruns of almost everything worth speedrunning, like Metroid and Mega Man and Cave Story and blah, blah, blah. But still, surprise me out there. I could be wrong, guys. I think I've seen it all, but I bet you can prove me wrong. Adam Tierney asks, which one is the dog Pokemon?
Cubone.
Yeah, so many answers to that. That's how he gets you. All right, I guess we will stop. The show's almost 2 hours at this point.
That's way too long. That's
Nice,
2 hours too long.
It was a nice long.
What have we done?
It's over.
Try to stop it earlier.
We blew it. Yeah, okay then. What's going on this week?
I don't have a Sub Holmes rerun to post, I don't think.
No, unless I don't know. Maybe I did. No, I'm pretty sure we didn't do one.
No, we didn't do one. I canceled with Marcus Lindblom, who is the creator of, not the creator, the localizer of Earthbound, the creator of the Eraser. So he did get to create some content for it. But more or less, he was the writer, transcriber, translator. He's going to be on sometime in late December, I think. Which is nice. Yeah, so that all worked out. He was happy enough about it. We have a gentleman named Sean. I want to make sure. Yeah, Sean Alexander Allen is his full name. I have trouble with 3-name people. He's making a game called.
Well, they're serial killers. Think about it. Think about every serial killer that you know. They all have, or they tried to shoot a president.
Yeah, John Wilkes Booth. That other guy.
Yep.
Edgar Allan Poe. Treachery in Beatdown City is the name of his game. It is a game he's still working on. He's been showing it off. He's starting to drum up support about it. He showed it off, I think, at EVO earlier this year, and it went over really well. But it's a game that it's heavily influenced by Double Dragon. And
Austin Ivan Smith just told Adam Tierney off.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, don't you have work to do? Leave the poor Podtoid guys alone.
And you probably didn't see this, but Adam Tierney just posted a pic of a sort of crudely drawn Pikachu just cuddling a heart and sticking its butt out and being like, hey. He's really mocking me hard for some reason. Anyway. Right. So Sean Alexander Allen will be on the show. We're going to talk about fighting games. We're going to talk about fighting game culture. That's something he's also well known for being involved with and knowing about. And he also worked at Rockstar for a while. He worked on the trailers and promotion and kind of story presentation, not in the game, but in trailers for Grand Theft Auto 4. So he's on the inside scoop of what it's like to be a Rockstar. So we'll probably talk about that too. That's what he did before he went independent. And that's Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Twitch TV channel and on Destructoid's front page now. It just shows live streams. It's pretty neat. And I think that's it. I'm going to try to get that Blasian Link article out this Thursday too, because that's funny. I had a fun time writing that. More so than the top 10 list of small things I don't like about a video game that make me just not want to play it. Which I wrote, too, if you want to read that. It's about Pokemon. How about you guys?
I am working on a review of Eldritch.
What's that?
It's a first-person roguelike-y thing.
Huh.
It's damn good. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's. How far have you gotten, out of curiosity?
Not very far. I've actually not played much beyond what I did for my video, but I liked what I played.
I was very, very angry last night because I had cleared the 3 books for the first time, and then I don't know, there's. I'm not done playing it. You know, there's like one area after that, but you have like 3 different types of equipment that you can have.
Right.
And you know, each one has, you know, each piece of equipment in each slot can have different effects, you know, get the boots that give you extra jump height or make you faster or make you silent, shit like that. Well, there's a useless item for each of those slots also. And you have to find it. It's there, you'd have to go out of your way to get it, which only says to me, hey, you've got to have this shit when you go into the last area, or you're going to get the bad ending. So I go back and I get all this shit. Fucking Starspawn kills me.
Oh.
In the second area of that library, I was so close to finding out how much more bullshit I was going to have to go through.
Lovely stuff.
But, so yeah, have that review done as soon as I'm cogent enough to write it. And that's pretty much it for me this week.
Well, let's see, what did I do? Over on Destructoid, I did a review just towards the end of... Was it last week now? Or was it this Monday? I can't even remember the fucking time of day. But I got a review for Sonic Lost World up. You can read that. A game I despised when I first started playing it, but once it clicks with you, you kind of see what they're doing, and it's a pretty good game. It's got some really unforgivable shit in it, but for the most part, it's a good, solid, fun game. So Sonic Lost World is fairly legit. What else have I done? Over at the Escapist magazine, Jimquisition is called Sexual Failing, and is all about how sex scenes in games are basically cynical and pointless, and the pretensions that they're doing mature adult things with sex scenes in games just kind of makes them even more guilty. So that's interesting. That made a lot of men feel insecure and defensive, which was a total shock. What else? Jim and the Artist Rundown Spectacular is up. It's called Lament of a Murderer, and we got more poems based on games for you. And yeah, there's my own YouTube channel that I've been doing stuff on. It's just Jim Sterling, all one word, where you can see me saturating the internet, apparently. That's fun. And I've been doing sort of gameplay videos and things, and every Saturday I do a fun top 10 video, which have been relatively popular. That's been going pretty well. So thank you for those of you who have been watching that. And we might have some really interesting news about that in the near future. So that's that. And this was Podtoid. And you've been lovely people for joining us. And we've been a trio of dicks. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.